why did I become a coach? I get asked this question quite a bit, and to be honest, I'm kind of like sick of telling the story because it's a long one. So I'm going to tell it here so that hopefully you have watched this video and you won't need to ask me in the future. So there's a few reasons, but I will help guide you through what I feel is the most aligned reason. When I was 17, I broke up with my boyfriend 2 weeks after I turned 17, and he hung himself from the stadium down the street near my school. And I found him. It was, the worst day of my life to see him hanging there. There is a lot more to this story, and I tried to help take the rope off him, and we're not going to go into that today. That's a separate story. But essentially, at that event, the police officer told me, "So you're the reason he did this." And I held a huge amount of guilt and shame and remorse and regret. And from that, I had no idea how to deal with my emotions. And my poor parents bloody didn't know what to do either. And neither did the school. Literally no one knew what to do to help in that situation. It was just an awful situation. I spiraled downwards, and I spiraled downwards with drugs and alcohol for 4 years. I numbed myself. I put myself in risky situations. I got in fistfights. I drunk drove. I was not a great person because I was so hurt and so derailed, and nothing that anyone did could help me. And it wasn't until a few suicide attempts myself, and a particular one where I wanted to take my life, and I sped up towards a telegraph pole, and I pulled away at the last minute. And I remember saying to myself, sitting in the car crying, like, if you're not going to... And I focused on just external things, that I thought would help at the time. Like, I got skinny, and I got a, steady job, and I stopped going out so much, and I started dating a nice guy, and we eventually bought a block of land and built a house. And, from the outside in, everyone's like, wow, you did it. You did the white picket fence thing. Like, you're engaged, you're happy. You changed your life. And you know what? I really had transformed my life. However, they were all external things. I was still very much dead inside. I still felt the shame, the hurt, the guilt, all these other disempowering emotions from all of the shitty things that I had done throughout that time. And that's when I guess I had what I would call my first quarter life crisis at 21, and I burned it all down. I broke up with my fiance. We sold the house. I started riding motorbikes, bought myself a Harley. I got a boob job in Bangkok. And I was working in the mines at the time. I just did everything like the opposite of what society told me to do. So instead of settling down and, getting into a relationship and getting the house and all that, I did the opposite. And I just did all these fucking crazy things. Again, external, right? These are all external things that I felt like would make me happy. And they didn't. And after a couple of years, I realized, like, fuck, all of those things didn't make me happy either. Like, this is so confusing. Like, where is this fulfillment in life? Where is the contentment? Like, when will I be happy? Is this like, there's got to be more. Surely there is more to this life. And that's when I started to go inward. And I read hundreds of autobiographies and self-help books. And I then went from the inside out. And this is actually why I chose the business name Freedom is Within, and why my book is titled Freedom is Within, which is also the Busy Professionals Toolkit for Self-Mastery and Courageous Living on Amazon if you want to check it out. And I guess I lived in my own study of human behavior for years, and I was quite successful at the time. Like, by this stage, I was managing 200 people across 5 different mine sites. I was playing football at a representative level. I was doing all of these amazing things, but I was doing it from the inside out. And when I started as a firefighter, I just had all this space and time, and I felt like I wanted to contribute more and grow more. And that was when I started to look into like life coaching, that it was a thing that you could do. So I invested about $20,000 in different courses and started just studying my ass off. And I just showed up and was relentless in it. Like I had pro bono clients, and then I had, clients. I remember doing letterbox drops and things that are really difficult to get leads and have clients. But I did them because I really wanted to be great. I just wanted to be the best, to be able to help other people. And what I learned throughout that time is that coaching isn't helping people in the way of mentoring them or telling them that you should do what I did. It's actually about asking them the most curious questions to help them understand more about themselves so that they come up with the answers that are right for them, because the coach doesn't know better. Even if they've had crazy life experience, it's really up to the coach to ask the right questions so that the person comes up with their own insights. That's why I love coaching. That's why it's so effective. It's not me saying you should do this or I did this and it'll work for you. Like, that's utter bullshit. No two things are going to work for the same people. It really needs to be up to the individual. And yeah, I was relentless in the pursuit of that. And I absolutely have just built this amazing coaching business, not just for myself coaching clients, but I, have a team of 8 coaches that work with clients all around Australia and America and Canada and New Zealand and Africa. So let's call it global. And what's great is that I have this ability to understand what the client needs and what coach would be the best fit coach for them. So we can really pair people perfectly. And not only that, I've now built my own offshoot, I guess, of Freedom is Within, which is Elite Alpha, which is the wolf behind me. And that is the clients that I really desire to work with, which is men, like really high performance men. I'm talking like 8-figure businesses who are crushing it in the professional world, but there is an element where it's not translating to home in their relationships. And they are the absolute boss at work, but when they get home, there's like this emotional disconnect that they're not even really sure why in the beginning. And I help them repair their relationships. So for my own journey of why I became a life coach has just come this huge circle from that very beginning moment and all the things that I've experienced throughout my life to then working as a coach and building my skills and business, and now working with just the most incredible men and sometimes with their wives as well, which is yeah, it's amazing and I love it.